Imagine finding a penny, yes, just a regular penny, in your change, and then discovering it's worth a small fortune. Sounds like a dream, right? But hold on tight, because there's a coin out there right now, an Abraham Lincoln penny with a 2020D mint mark, that could potentially be worth, are you sitting down? A whopping $1.8 million. Yep, you heard that right. This isn't some fantasy or clickbait. Stick around to find out how a humble penny could make you richer than your wildest dreams. Now, before we get too carried away, let's break this down. You're probably thinking, I've got a jar full of pennies in my closet. So where's my $1.8 million? Well, not all pennies are created equal, my friend. The 2020D Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those rare, valuable exceptions that could make you some serious money if you find one in good condition. First, let's talk about the 2020D penny's history. Minted in Denver, this penny features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, of course, on the obverse, the front side, and the reverse side has the classic Lincoln Memorial design. Now, nothing about that design is special at first glance. What sets this penny apart from the hundreds of billions of pennies out there is a very specific error that could make it the golden ticket to your coin collection fortune. You see, some 2020D pennies were struck with a rare minting error. This error is known as a double die variety, which means that the details of the coin were stamped twice, making them appear thicker, darker, and almost blurry in some places. This double strike gives the coin an extra level of rarity because it's not something you'll find every day. But here's the thing. You're not going to just find a double die penny in your pocket change without looking carefully. And even if you do find one, the coin's value is hugely influenced by its condition. The higher the grade, the more money you can make. Speaking of condition, if you happen to find a 2020D penny that looks like it's been rolled over by a truck, it's probably not going to get you much. But if the penny is in mint condition, with sharp details and minimal wear, that's when the magic happens. The key word here is mint, and we're talking about the coin's state of preservation, not the mint where it was made. Coins that grade as mint state 68 or higher are the ones that are worth millions. So yes, there are only a few of these perfect condition 2020D pennies out there, and they're the ones fetching that jaw-dropping $1.8 million price tag. All right, but how am I supposed to know if my penny is worth a fortune or just worth 1 cent? Well, don't sweat it. A good rule of thumb is to look for clear signs of a double die error. If you notice any doubling on the letters or numbers on the penny, or if you see any blurry or ghostly marks on Abraham Lincoln's face, you might just be holding on to something special. But it's always a good idea to get your coin professionally graded, especially if you think it could be worth big bucks. It didn't. I was going through a box of old coins that had been sitting in my basement for years. I came across this ancient-looking penny from the 1950s, and I thought, this is it. I'm about to become the next coin millionaire. I did what any coin enthusiast would do. I rushed to Google to find out how much it was worth. Turns out, I'd found a penny with some noticeable wear, and in that condition, it wasn't even worth the paperclip I was using to hold it. My dreams of quitting my day job and living off rare pennies were dashed, but the lesson was clear. Condition is everything. And while I didn't strike it rich, I did learn that just knowing what to look for makes all the difference. So, now that you know a little more about the 2020D Abraham Lincoln penny, its potential value, and how to spot one of those rare double die errors, don't go tossing your pennies in the trash just yet. Take the time to dig through your collection or check your change. You never know when you might find a $1.8 million gem just hanging out in your pocket. But hey, even if you don't hit the jackpot, there are plenty of other valuable coins out there waiting for you to discover them. And lucky for you, I've got tons of tips and tricks to help you spot rare coins that could be worth a lot more than their face value. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the coin treasure hunt with me. Who knows? Your next coin could be worth a fortune, and I'll be here to help you make that discovery. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like if you learned something new, and share this video with your fellow coin hunting friends. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for more tips on how to turn your pocket change into a fortune. Have you ever looked through a jar of pennies and thought, well, that's probably just some old change? Maybe you thought a penny was worth about a penny, right? Well, guess what? You could be looking at a fortune without even knowing it. Yep, that's right. That little, unassuming penny sitting in your collection could actually be worth millions. And I'm not kidding. Today, we're diving into the amazing story of the 2006 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which can go for a jaw-dropping $1.90 million in the right conditions. Stick with me, folks, because you're not going to want to miss this one. Trust me, this might just change how you look at your spare change forever. Cue intro music and show intro graphics. Alright, first things first, let's talk about what makes the 2006 D Mint Mark penny so special. It's a regular penny, right? Nothing too fancy at first glance. The kind of thing you'd find stuck to your shoe or hiding in the back of your couch cushions. But in the world of coin collecting, this little guy is a gold mine. Well, technically a penny mine. But you get the idea? Switch to a shot of the Lincoln Memorial penny on the screen. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions or old coin jars, here's a bit of history. The 2006 D penny was part of the ongoing series featuring Abraham Lincoln, and it was released to honor Lincoln's 200th birthday. On the back of the coin, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, which is iconic. But here's where things get wild. Not all of these 2006 pennies are created equal. Some of them have a very rare error on them that makes them worth a lot more than you might think. Some of these 2006 D pennies have a special double die error. What does that mean? Well, it's a little manufacturing hiccup where the die that stamps the coin had a slight misalignment. This results in the text on the coin, like Liberty and In God We Trust, appearing doubled. You see two versions of the text, and if you spot it, you've got a rare, mint-condition coin worth thousands, and sometimes even millions. Cut to a graphic of a typical penny versus a double die penny, showing the difference clearly. Take a look here. See how Liberty looks a little funky in the double die version? That's the money shot. Literally. These double die errors are rare, and the more noticeable the doubling is, the more valuable the penny becomes. It's a coin collector's dream. Some of these pennies, in mint condition, can sell for nearly $1.9 million. Let me tell you, I had no idea that a coin I was tossing around in my own pockets could be worth that much. Imagine my surprise when I found out. I remember the first time I heard about this coin. I thought someone was pulling my leg. But nope, it's the real deal. I've been going through my own stash of pennies after hearing this news. I once found a penny stuck between the cushions of my couch, just a regular penny. I stared at it for a minute and thought, could this be one of those million-dollar pennies? Nah, it's probably just a regular old coin. But, I swear, the way I looked at it, like maybe it was the key to my retirement. It was like I was holding a piece of history. So moral of the story? Never underestimate what's in your couch cushions. It's not as easy as just finding a 2060 penny in your change jar and expecting to cash out for a fortune. No, sir. You'll need to make sure that the penny has that doubling error. And that penny has to be in pristine condition. We're talking about a coin with no wear and tear, no scratches, no discoloration. If it's been handled too much, well, it's probably not going to be worth millions anymore. But if you do find one in mint condition with that double die error, you're sitting on a gold mine. So, how do you find one of these? You've got to be on the lookout. Alright, so how can you spot one of these magical pennies in your change jar? First, take a magnifying glass. Trust me, you're going to need it. Check for any signs of the doubling on the text. The letters should be noticeably offset, kind of like when you look at a blurry photo and see two versions of the same image. You'll see it. And when you do, your heart will skip a beat, because you might just have a coin worth a small fortune. Show some more examples of what to look for. So, there you have it. The 2006 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A coin that could sit in your pocket, ignored for years, until you discover it's worth nearly $1.9 million. It's a crazy world out there in the world of coin collecting. You can find these hidden treasures just lying around in your spare change, and all it takes is a little knowledge, a keen eye, and a bit of luck. I know you probably don't have $1 million penny just laying around, but with the tips I've shared today, you can start spotting these rare coins and get yourself one step closer to that next big find. So, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, and trust me, this is just the tip of the iceberg, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss the next video where I'll share even more tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins worth big bucks. Who knows, maybe next time, you'll be the one showing off a coin worth millions. If you're like me, you've probably rummaged through your pockets or dug around in that old jar of loose change, wondering if there's a hidden treasure tucked away. I mean, we've all seen those "this penny is worth $5,000" ads, and you think, yeah, right, who's buying that? Well, buckle up, because today, I've got something that will blow your mind. An Abraham Lincoln penny from 1978 without a mint mark. You heard that right, folks. This little copper circle is currently valued at $2 million. Yeah, you read that right, 2 million. But how, you ask? Stick with me, and let's dive into how a simple penny can become the crown jewel of your collection. Before we get too deep into the shocking value of this coin, let's talk about what makes it so special. You see, back in 1978, the US Mint made millions of Lincoln pennies, just like they do every year. But here's the kicker. Some of those pennies came out without a mint mark. Normally, US coins have a mint mark that tells you which mint facility produced them. If you see a D on a penny, that means it was made in Denver. A S means San Francisco. But in 1978, some pennies got released without any mint mark at all. Now, normally, if a penny is missing its mint mark, it's no big deal. It's just a little mistake, right? You'd think, hey, it's just a manufacturing error. But for some reason, this particular mistake is worth a small fortune. Experts believe that only a handful of these no mint mark 1978 pennies exist, and that rarity skyrockets their value. One of these rare coins was sold at auction for $2 million. $2 million. Can you even imagine? It's enough to make you want to start looking through every penny you've ever collected, right? But let's put this into perspective. To be clear, this doesn't mean every 1978 penny you find is going to make you a millionaire. Far from it. Most of them are just like any other penny you've ever come across. But if you happen to spot one of these rare no mint mark pennies, you might be holding onto a piece of American history that's worth more than your car. Seriously, don't throw it away, don't spend it. Hold on to it and run to a coin expert ASAP. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, I haven't seen a penny like that in my lifetime. Where the heck would I even find one? Trust me, I've been there. Back in the day, I found what I thought was a rare coin in my change, just a regular penny with some smudged edges. I thought I hit the jackpot. I took it to a local dealer, all excited, only for him to burst my bubble by telling me it was just an old, worn-out penny. But hey, that's the nature of coin hunting. Most of the time, you're just looking through the same old stuff. But when you find the rare one, oh boy, it's like striking gold. And let's be real, if I can find something valuable by accident, then so can you. Coin hunting isn't just about luck. It's about knowing what to look for. And once you know what you're looking for, your chances of finding something incredible go way up. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Coin hunting is about being patient, being smart, and doing your research. The 1978 no mint mark penny is worth up to $2 million because it's rare, it's unique, and not every collector has one. But don't just run to your coin jar and start picking out all the 1978 pennies, though. Look for the ones that are uncirculated, in mint condition, and most importantly, check if they're missing that mint mark. And hey, if you enjoyed this wild ride through the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and strategies to spot coins that are worth way more than face value. I'll be back soon with more cool coin discoveries, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. Quick question. What's the one coin you probably have lying around in your collection or, dare I say, your spare change jar that could actually be worth more than your car? Yeah, I'm talking about the 1984 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This coin has a crazy value right now, and I mean crazy in the worth more than my entire wardrobe combined kind of way. I'll give you a hint. It's valued at $2.1 million. Yep, you heard that right. But hold on. Is it really that valuable? Or are we just getting caught up in the hype? Stick around, because I'm about to break down everything you need to know about this legendary penny. The origins of the 1984 no mint mark penny. Alright, so first things first. The 1984 no mint mark penny. Why is it so special? Well, for starters, if you've ever taken a close look at a penny, you've probably noticed something on the reverse side, the mint mark. If the coin was produced in Philadelphia, there's usually no mint mark. But if it came from another US mint, like Denver or San Francisco, it would have a D or an S, respectively. Back in 1984, some pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint were accidentally released without a mint mark. It wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. So, imagine the situation. Everyone's thinking they've got a normal penny, and then boom, years later, a couple of eagle-eyed collectors realize that these mintless coins are pretty rare. Fast forward to today, and guess what? That accidental mint mark disappearance has made the 1984 no mint mark penny insanely valuable, as in $2.1 million on the open market. I mean, that's more than some people's houses. This isn't just some found it in my pocket type of situation. Most of these pennies are rare, and they have become highly sought after by collectors. Now, you might be thinking, wait, is it really that simple? I could just pick one of these up from my jar and be rolling in dough? Well, not exactly. While it's true that some of these pennies have sold for mind-blowing prices, you've got to consider a few things. Here's the deal. Rarity, rarity, rarity. The fact that so few of these coins were made without a mint mark makes them highly collectible. But just because your 1984 penny doesn't have a mint mark doesn't mean it's going to be worth $2.1 million. There are a few other factors at play, like the condition of the penny. Is it shiny and fresh, or is it so worn down that it looks like it's been through a war? And whether it's been authenticated by a reputable grading company. In fact, many of the pennies that have sold for such high prices have been in near-perfect condition. We're talking about coins that are mint state, which is basically coin collector talk for looking like it just came off the press yesterday. So, speaking of coins and mint marks, let me share a little story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market. Yeah, I'm one of those people who loves rummaging through bins of old coins hoping to find a hidden gem. Anyway, I come across a dusty old jar of pennies. The guy's selling them for like 10 cents each, and I'm thinking, what the heck? Let me see if there's anything rare. So, I start going through these pennies, and I come across a 1984 penny. At first, I was like, well, that's not too exciting. But then I noticed, wait a second, no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be? Is this the one? I quickly checked the condition, and nope, it was worn down to the point that it wouldn't even qualify for a decent value. Talk about a letdown. But hey, that's how it goes in the world of coin collecting. Sometimes you find something great, sometimes you just find more work to do. Now, let's talk about how you can tell if you've got a 1984 no mint mark penny that might be worth something. First, check the coin closely. No mint mark? That's step one. Next, evaluate the condition. Is it in mint condition, or does it look like it's been run over by a truck? Coins in pristine condition are obviously worth way more. And then, if you're serious about selling or buying these coins, get it graded. Trust me, it's the best way to determine its true value. All right, folks, now that you're all experts on the 1984 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, it's time to put your new knowledge to work. Keep an eye out for those pennies in your collection. Check those mint marks, and remember, condition is king. If you find a gem, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on what coins are worth big bucks and how not to make the same mistake I did at the flea market, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more coin hunting tips and tricks. Stop what you're doing right now because you're about to hear a story that might just change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Imagine finding a penny in your couch cushions, except this isn't just any penny. It could be worth $2.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about the 1991 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And I know what you're thinking. A penny? $2.2 million? Is this some sort of joke? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll either be checking your wallet or heading straight to your grandma's house to see if she's got any of these bad boys hidden in a drawer. All right, let's dive in. So, we all know the classic Lincoln Memorial penny. It's been around since the 1950s and features, of course, the great Abraham Lincoln on one side and the Lincoln Memorial on the other. The 1991 penny was no different. But here's the kicker. While most of these coins were produced at the U.S. Mint with a mint mark, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, some of these pennies didn't have any mint mark at all. They were minted in Philadelphia, where they typically don't put mint marks on coins. But there's a small batch of 1991 pennies without any mint mark that are extremely rare. These are the ones that have fetched some serious cash at auctions, like the one that sold for $2.2 million back in 2018. Imagine that, $2.2 million for a penny. Talk about a return on investment. Now, let's talk about how you can spot one of these elusive pennies. First off, make sure your penny is from 1991. Easy enough, right? The tricky part is that there's no mint mark. So, look at the reverse side of the coin. If you see no D or S near the bottom, that's a red flag or a green light, depending on how you want to look at it. Also, you'll want to check the condition. Coins with better quality, meaning fewer scratches, no discoloration, and minimal wear, are going to be worth more. The more pristine it is, the more likely it is to fetch a higher price. If you find one, don't just toss it in your jar of change like I almost did with my first find. Get it checked out, because you never know when you might hold on to something that's actually worth more than your car. Okay, quick story. A few years ago, I was going through my old coin collection that I had from childhood. I'm talking about the kind of collection you started when you were 10 years old and then never thought about again once you hit middle school. But, lo and behold, I find a penny in there that looks a little different. No mint mark. I thought, maybe this is something. So, I did what any reasonable person would do. I Googled it. Turns out, it was a rare 1991 no mint mark penny. And while it wasn't the $2.2 million jackpot, it was still worth a good chunk of change. It was like I discovered buried treasure in my own home. Moral of the story: never ignore your coins. They might be worth more than you think. Now, say you've found one of these rare pennies. What do? First off, take a deep breath and don't rush to the nearest pawn shop. Do your research. There are a lot of numismatic, fancy word for coin nerdy, forums and websites where you can get an estimate on what your coin might be worth. You might even want to get it appraised by a professional, especially if it's in great condition. There's no harm in getting a second opinion, because this is one of those cases where a penny can indeed be worth more than its weight in gold. Also, check out online auction houses. Some of the most expensive coins, including the 1991 no mint mark penny, have sold at places like heritage auctions. And if you've got the kind of luck I'm not blessed with, maybe you'll find your own $2.2 million buyer. You know what's really cool about coins? They're like little time capsules. Each coin tells a story. The 1991 no mint mark penny might be a small detail in US history, but it's also proof of the kind of luck and knowledge that can lead to some pretty awesome finds. And hey, even if you don't find a rare penny, collecting coins is a great hobby. You never know what treasure is hiding in your change jar or the back of your drawer, so what did we learn today? Well, the 1991 no mint mark penny is a real gem. If you've got one, you could be looking at a small fortune. And if you don't have one, well, you're not out of luck yet. There's always a chance that your next pocket change could be the one that pays off big. So keep your eyes peeled and your magnifying glass handy. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. I've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and stories to share. Who knows? Your next coin could be worth a fortune. Subscribe now, and let's keep the hunt for valuable coins going. And hey, if you do find a rare one, don't forget to come back here and share your story. Maybe you'll inspire the next $2.2 million penny discovery. So, you think your old pennies are just sitting around collecting dust in that jar you keep on your desk or in the bottom of your drawer, right? Well, think again. Today, we're talking about a penny that could be worth more than your entire coin collection, or even your house. That's right, we're diving into the 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's been making headlines lately and the jaw-dropping value it's bringing in today. Stick with me, and let's find out if you've got a hidden treasure lying around. Okay, let's set the scene. Imagine you're just going about your day, right? Maybe you're at the store, grabbing a pack of gum, or buying your daily cup of coffee. And what do? You pull out your wallet and hand over some change. You probably don't give a second thought to those pennies clinking around. But hold up. What if, just what if, one of those pennies wasn't like the rest? What if one of them was a rare 2000 no mint mark penny? And not just rare, mind-blowingly rare. Now, let's backtrack a little bit. In 2000, the US Mint started putting mint marks on pennies that told you where they were made. Most coins will have a P for Philadelphia or a D for Denver. But here's the kicker. In 2000, there was a small batch of pennies that got made without any mint mark. None. And no, it wasn't some sort of weird manufacturing glitch or a hoopsie moment. It was actually a rare mistake. A handful of these coins ended up in circulation, and as you can guess, that makes them incredibly valuable. Now, let's talk numbers. You ready for this? The current market value of a 2000 no-mint mark penny is around a whopping $2.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, million, with an M. That's enough to buy a brand new car, take a vacation around the world, and still have enough left over to retire early and live the dream. Okay, so now you're probably asking, where can I find one of these? Well, that's where the tricky part comes in. These coins are insanely rare. There are only a few known to exist, and that's why the price tag is through the roof. I mean, you might have a better chance of finding a four-leaf clover or winning the lottery, but hey, you never know. Here's a fun little story for you. A few years ago, I was going through my own collection of pennies, the ones that have been tossed around for years and are covered in grime. I found a 2000 penny and thought, hey, I'll check this one out, just in case. Spoiler alert. It wasn't a no-mint mark penny, but the feeling I had when I thought I'd struck gold? Priceless. If only, right? It's kind of like the time I thought I'd found a rare 1950s bottle cap in my backyard and had an entire daydream about being a millionaire. But I digress. Let's focus on how to check if you've got a 2000 no-mint mark penny. First, grab your magnifying glass, or, let's be honest, your phone's camera, and zoom in on the spot where the mint mark should be. If you don't see anything there, congratulations, you might just have a treasure on your hands. If it's got a P or D, then, well, you've just got a regular penny, nothing to cry over. Except maybe the lost opportunity for a $2.3 million windfall. Let's also talk about how you can get your hands on one if you don't already have one. Auctions, coin shows, and even online marketplaces are the best places to hunt down this rare gem. Just make sure you do your homework and don't get scammed. If you're ever in doubt, take it to a professional coin grader. There's a lot of counterfeit stuff out there, and you don't want to end up with a fake when you think you've struck it rich. The 2000 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is an absolute treasure for any coin collector. With a market value of $2.3 million, it's a coin that has definitely earned its place in the history books, and maybe, just maybe, in your pocket. But finding one is rare, so don't get discouraged if your penny collection turns out to be a little less treasure chest and a little more pocket change. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows? One day, you might just find yourself with the most valuable penny in the world. Before you go, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode of coin tips, tricks, and strategies for finding the next big winner in your collection. And hey, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or thought you did. I'd love to hear your stories because believe me, every coin collector has had that what if moment. We're diving into the wild world of pennies, and trust me, this isn't your typical change in your couch cushions kind of story. No, no. I'm talking about a 1973 D. Lincoln penny that's worth more than your car, your vacation, and maybe even your student loans combined. Stick around to find out how this little copper coin could potentially make you a fortune. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, let me explain. Now, before we get all starry-eyed, let's break down why in the world a 1973 D penny is fetching a jaw-dropping $2.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, million. If you're like me, you probably glanced at your penny jar this morning and thought, these things are literally worth a cent. And yeah, in most cases, they are, but not in every case. The 1973 D penny isn't just your regular everyday copper coin. This penny, minted in Denver, holds a very rare error, a double die obverse. Say what? Basically, it means the design was stamped onto the coin twice, creating a noticeable double image effect. If you're a coin enthusiast, you probably know that these errors are like finding a unicorn in your backyard. And when you find one of these babies, well, it's a whole different ballgame. It's like that time I found a rare Pokemon card in my childhood binder and thought I hit the jackpot. But this penny? Yeah, it's worth a lot more than a shiny Charizard. Why is this penny worth $2.4 million? It's simple. Scarcity. These double die errors don't just happen every day. And even if you manage to find one, the condition of the coin is everything. The more pristine, the more valuable. Now, we're talking about super rare. Like, you'd probably have to travel the world digging through piles of coins rare. Now, let's be real. You probably don't have a $2.4 million penny just sitting in your change jar. I mean, I checked mine, and I've only got enough to buy myself a soda at the vending machine. But here's the thing. Finding these types of coins is possible. You've just got to know what you're looking for. Here's a little tip from me, personally. I once found a rare 1943 steel penny in a junk drawer. I didn't know what I had at first. Thought it was just a funny-looking penny and tossed it in a later pile. Fast forward to me Googling some old coins out of curiosity, and boom! Turns out that little thing could be worth $50. Lesson learned. Don't underestimate your loose change, folks. How do I even start looking for something like this? Well, first off, get yourself a magnifying glass. You can't spot these rare errors with your naked eye. Trust me, I've tried. Second, be patient. It's all about digging through those pennies, quarter rolls, or even old piggy banks where you might have stuffed coins as a kid. And don't be afraid to learn. The more you know, the better your chances of finding a hidden gem. Make sure it's a 1973 D. No one's paying $1 million for a 1973 S. Look closely at the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see a double image, you might be onto something. The better the condition, the more it's worth. You want sharp, clean details. Think of it like a freshly printed $100 bill but in penny form. Host. And there you have it. The 1973 D penny that could make you a millionaire, or at least put you on the right path to digging for treasures. Now, don't rush off just yet. You're probably wondering where to find these rare pennies. The truth is, they're hidden out there in circulation or tucked away in the collections of people who didn't know what they had. The best advice I can give is, check your change, dig through those old coin jars, and keep learning about the world of rare coins. This penny, and others like it, could be waiting for you to stumble upon it. All right, folks, that's all for today's deep dive into the world of the 1973 D Double Die Lincoln penny worth $2.4 million. Who knew something so small could pack such a punch, right? Remember, coin collecting is about more than just old metal. It's about finding hidden treasures. So, before you toss that penny, take a closer look. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding valuable coins, strategies for collecting, or just general coin nerdiness, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join the community, and let's see what other treasures we can dig up together. And hey, if you find that $1 million penny, don't forget who gave you the tip. Do you have any spare change lying around? Well, let me tell you, that random penny you found in your couch cushions just might be worth a small fortune. I'm talking about a 1964 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could fetch you a whopping $2.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. $2.5 million. Sounds crazy, right? But stick with me here, because today we're diving deep into why this penny is such a big deal and how you might just be sitting on a gold mine. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss this. All right, let's break this down. First off, when you hear the word penny, you probably think of those little copper discs that get lost in the bottom of your purse or stuffed in between the seats of your car. And, honestly, most pennies aren't worth much more than the value they represent, 1 cent. But oh man, the 1964 D Mint Mark penny? That's a different story. Now, let me give you a little background. The 1964 penny wasn't just any old penny. It was a part of a major year for U.S. coinage, because 1964 was the last year the U.S. minted pennies with 90% copper. After that, they shifted to a copper-plated zinc mix. But here's the kicker. While most 1964 pennies are just your average, everyday change, there's a small number of them that are absolute rarities. And I'm not just talking about that penny you might have saved in your coin jar because you thought it was cool. The 1964 D Mint Mark penny had a small number of coins that were mistakenly struck on a planchet. That's the metal blank that gets stamped into a coin that was supposed to be used for silver dimes. That's where the magic happens, people. Only a few of these silver 1964 pennies exist today, making them incredibly rare and ridiculously valuable. And guess what? One of these rare pennies, one of the few that slipped through the cracks, was sold for $2.5 million at an auction. Yeah, that's right. Someone found a little old penny that you could easily overlook and turned it into a small fortune. I mean, who's laughing now? It's like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, except it's a penny and, well, it's way better than chocolate. But here's where it gets interesting. You're probably wondering, how in the world do I know if my 1964D penny is one of those rare ones? Great question. And lucky for you, I've got some tips. First off, let me just say this. The majority of 1964D pennies are not going to be worth $2.5 million. Sorry to burst your bubble, but that's just reality. However, there are still a few ways to tell if you've got a real gem on your hands. Check the condition of your penny. A high-grade, well-preserved 1964D penny can be worth a significant amount, even if it's not one of those million-dollar coins. But if your penny has been through the ringer, scratched, dinged, or corroded, well, it's probably not going to make you rich. Still, you could get a decent amount for it depending on its condition. Examine the mint mark. Now, the D stands for the Denver Mint, but what you're really looking for is the type of die used to strike the coin. Some of these 1964D pennies were struck with a clash die, meaning there's a noticeable double image or other strange markings on the coin. Those can make a huge difference in value. But don't get too excited just yet. This is where it gets tricky. If you think you have one of these rare pennies, the best move is to get it professionally graded by a certified coin grader. Trust me, the process is worth it. Better safe than sorry when it comes to a coin that could potentially be worth a couple of $1,000,000. A few years ago, I went to a garage sale. Yes, a garage sale. I know, it's not the fanciest of places, but bear with me. I was scouring through a box of random coins and noticed a 1964D penny. It was dirty and looked like it had been through some rough times. But, for some reason, I decided to pick it up and toss it in my pocket. Fast forward a few weeks, and I'm looking through my pocket change and, boom, I found that same penny. I didn't think much of it at the time, but it got me thinking, what if this is one of those rare 1964D pennies? So, I did a little research, learned more about these coins, and I've been hooked on the world of rare pennies ever since. Now, I'm not saying my penny is worth millions, but it's a good reminder to always check your change. You never know what you might find. That 1964D penny could be more than just a penny. It could be your ticket to $1,000,000 payday. But if you're not sure whether you've got one of these rare coins, don't panic. Check its condition, look for any weird die marks, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be sitting on a small fortune. And hey, if you're looking for more tips on coins worth money, strategies to spot rare finds, or just want to stay in the loop on all things coin collecting, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Trust me, you won't regret it. You could be the next person to strike it rich with a rare penny. Thanks for watching, and remember, check your change. You might just find a treasure hiding in plain sight.